We are live. So happy to be here. Q&A number 3. I've got a lot to share with you guys today. I thought let's kick it off with the quote that is the foundation of everything we do. Our dogs are doing the best they can with the education we've given them in the environment that we've put them in. And that quote ideally is one that's super motivational to everybody, right? Because it means there's hope. There's hope. There's promise. No matter what we're doing, there's promise for something better. I have a question for you to start us off here. Now, let's suppose you have a dog that is pulling on leash. They're pulling in front of you. I've given 4 reasons that people may tell you that they're pulling because they're being stubborn. They're pulling because they're trying to dominate you. They're pulling because they're on their own agenda. They're pulling because they have zero respect for what you want. Or another reason, and if you can think of another reason why the dog is pulling, I give you a hint to start the live. I'd like you to put it in the comments below. Also, if you've got a history of people giving you reasons why your dog may or may not be doing something, and you look back now and it didn't make sense, let's put that in the comments below too, because there's a lot of misinformation going around. Sheleen, what a beautiful name, put my dog pulls when she's reactive, whining and yiping. Excited, something they smell or see. They're triggered. Yes. I have 1 for vote. 3, they're on their own agenda. They have interesting smells, excited. They're just not trained, not educated. Worried. Environment is too amazing. No reinforcement for what the job you want them to do, aka not pulling. So there's a lot of great reasons why. And for me, there's really just 2, that the dogs, if we believe the dog's doing the best they can with the education we've given them in the environment we put them in, ask yourself, if you were walking on leash in your kitchen, would your dog pull on leash? If the answer is no, then it's about the environment that you've put them in. And so, dogs pull on leash for me for 1 of 2 reasons. Number 1, it's education. Number 2, it's fear. And so if it's education, there's something we can do about it. If there's fear, there's still a lot we can do about it to help grow that confidence in that dog. Dogs are always telling us where the value is. So the value lies in the distraction of an environment when you're pulling on leash, and there isn't the value for hanging out with you when we get outside the kitchen, where I know I get lots of cookies. Okay. So Harlan says, first time here. Welcome, Harlan. Another really cool name. This is the day of cool names. This is the live of very cool names. Just on this page alone, we've got Pascali, Harlan, Carolyn. Okay. You're the normal one. Marguerite, a beautiful, it's normal, but it's beautiful. Bertha, Trudy. So we've got a lot of very unique names. Welcome, everybody. So I'm going to start off with a recap of, hold on. I'm going to start off with a recap of what we've been doing up to this date. So Doggy Flicks, if you're watching this and you're not familiar with Doggy Flicks is a brand new platform, and we kicked off this new platform by introducing a series called The Connected Dog. Now, when you get to Doggy Flicks, and anyone can join Doggy Flicks, if you're watching this now, I just put the address on the screen, doggyflix.com/learn. You join Doggy Flicks, and there's 5 videos there for you. Those 5 videos were for everybody to get a base level for what does your dog love, base level for where is your dog most connected to you, meaning that they won't be distracted by their environment, and where are the environments where you are like invisible to your dog, because in order to improve anything, you really need to record everything and understand where you're starting from. Because dog training, my mentor Bob Bailey says, dog training is knowing what you have, knowing what you want, and in the middle is what you have to train. So that's why we started off Doggy Flicks by giving you these 5 videos, and we wanted you to gather data, right? What do you have? How could you objectively describe what you've got? And we would lose things like, well, my dog's a terrier, so he blows me off. My dog's a bulldog, so he can't be trained. Because honestly, those things just aren't true. They're a perception with the lens that you're looking through life right now. And so those first 5 videos were to help establish where your habits are, so that we can attach dog training to a habit, to understand what our baseline is, and also to look at your beliefs and what you think of. Because I've shared here several times, I'm going to share it one more time really quickly, that beliefs, they power everything. All right. So that if we look at the beliefs we had, let's just say we pick one of those beliefs, dogs are dominant. And there's a lot of people, a lot of dog trainers on social media today telling you your dog's doing that because it's dominant. I unfortunately watched the part of somebody's dog training when he was training in a store, and he would get a fearful dog. That dog's trying to dominate you. Are you kidding me? But let's just pretend we're all going to live in that land. Dogs do things because they're dominant. So if that is our belief, then when we see a dog putting on a leash, what is our thought? We instantly go to, oh yeah, you know what? You and I, we're going to have it out because you're trying to dominate me. So your emotion, what is it? It might be rage. It might be combativeness. It might be ego tripping. It might be, these aren't emotions. I know these. What are your emotions? They are on the red side, aren't they? If you believe your dog's trying to dominate you, and then he pulls on leash, your thoughts are, oh, I know what you're doing. I got your number. Your emotions take you to a place. What are your actions? I am going to show you I'm bigger, I'm stronger, I'm smarter, and I will be the dominant one. That's what I'll show you. And what will the results be? Potentially, depending on the dog you're trying to bully, they may go, oh, this is a crazy person. I'll stay in my lane. Crazy person, right? Or they may get combative. They may combat you, because dogs will fight, flight, or freeze. They can't flee because you're on a leash. They can either fight you or they can just get vapor locked. And when they get vapor locked, the people go, see what I mean? When we show him who's boss, he doesn't move. Now, let's suppose that we go to a different place where our belief is our dog is pulling on a leash because I put him in an environment he wasn't ready for. All right. So now, our basic belief is our dogs are doing the best they can with the education we've given them. Dog pulls on leash. We go, oh man, I screwed up here, didn't I? Woo. And then your emotions are, oh buddy, I'm so sorry. I should have done better for you. All right. Your actions are, I got to get you out of here. I got to get you out here in the fastest and the most seamless way possible, so that you can not be overwhelmed. You can't be overexcited. You can't be reactive or triggered. So I'm going to get you out of here. And then the results are, you understand, I've got to take action. My dog just told me they weren't ready for what I did. And now I'm going to take action so that my dog can be in that environment in the future and not be triggered. So going through those scenarios, do you guys see the difference in how your belief, just what we believe, and that belief is like a lens, like a colored lens that we look through. Everything in life we look through. right? Because it becomes a habit. And then we went from, those were the 5 videos in Doggy Flicks. And then there were the 6 videos in the Connected Dog series. And in the 6 videos, the first thing we established was how to condition power words. And we taught you 2 power words: the word cookie, which told the dog, stay where you are. I'm delivering cookies to each of you. I got to deliver to them all. I'm going to deliver the cookie to you. Cookie means I promise you a reinforcement is coming, a food reinforcement is coming, and it will be delivered to you. We conditioned the word search to mean you can now pick up a cookie on the floor or a treat or whatever it is that you've thrown. All right. And so we were working classical conditioning, and the stress was the conditioning happens in the gap. So it can't happen at the same time. You can't be pulling a cookie out of your hand or out of your pocket and saying cookie as you're coming towards the dog, because there is no conditioning that happens. And then there were some of you that wrote in, well, my dog is high anxiety and I can't really grab the collar. And so the theme was, we meet our dogs where they're at, that we have a schedule, that I gave you tons of lesson plans. Did you guys download those lessons plans? Let me have some hearts if you downloaded the lesson plans and you thought they were of value to you. So I give you the lesson plans. Therefore, you set your schedule, but it's always the dog who dictates the pace. That's just super important, right? And so we went through all of that, and I shared with you how training happens in layers, and that this is just the foundation layer. So if you were one of my recaller students, you would be learning about conditioning, and then learning about choice, and then learning about testing value, and then building more value. There'd be many, many layers to create a dog that you could take in any environment, right? And so I also shared with you how myself and my coaches, we were on these videos and we were constantly helping you with your mechanics, because understanding that dog training is a mechanical skill. And therefore, when we can improve your mechanics, we can help you improve your dog. That's the most important thing, right? And so then we move to the It's Your Choice game, which is the foundation of everything that I do and everything that I teach in all of my programs, because I want to empower the dog. So the dog has autonomy. You make the choice. I evaluate what you know based on your choices. I'm not going to try and bully you so you don't make a choice. Your choice is feedback on how good a dog trainer I have been. Yes, we can bully dogs, just like you know, on the playground, some kids could bully kids. And what do those bully kids do? They learn to shut up, keep their head down, and don't have an opinion. We can bully dogs to be the same, but that is not creating, in my opinion, the kind of relationship that dogs are sent to us to have, right? So that takes us, that series, and video 7 is going to be released on Monday. And video 7 is all about the transcendence of you. And it's also about the call to adventure to carry on the journey with you. All right. Now, I got so excited today. I didn't announce any share winners, and I didn't announce how you could win. So let's give away some prizes, shall we? The first prize I'm going to give away, it's a prize just like this one, but it's got a better ball. Not this is a horrible ball. It's just not my favorite to train with. And so I'm giving away my favorite ball. And this comes from the folks at For My Merles. And we are going to, let me just find who I know. We got a really pretty winner banner. So the winner, I'll show you a picture. This is what you're winning. Ooh la la. We're winning a raspberry. I think it's got a fluffy on it, though. That one doesn't have a fluffy in it. It's a raspberry with a fluffy. And our share winner from our last is Donna Parrot Ashley Adair. Woo, woo, let's raise a roost for Donna. Now, I'm going to have another prize. I know this is my last schedule live, but I am going to go live on Monday. I'm going to tell you right now, I am going to go live on Monday. And I will, let's have another share prize, and I'll make it available to anyone who's watching this video right now, anywhere you're watching it. You share this video on your social media page, and then you come back in the comments and you write shared and where you shared it. So if you are watching it on YouTube and you shared it on Facebook, let us know your name on Facebook so that we can go and check your page and see that you shared it before we give you your prize. Okay. And so on Monday, what we're going to do is we're going to do I'm going to give away a Propel. All right. So a Propel is not that. There's a Propel. I love them for fitness. I would say it is, of all the inflatable things you can use for your dog for fitness, that would be my favorite. So if you share now, and if you share anytime between now, if you're watching this after, between now and Monday, then you will be in the random draw for the Propel, just like Donna won the tug toy today. Okay. And it's a random draw. So if Donna wins Monday, don't say it was rigged. Donna and I were not relatives, but she could win. Just saying. That's the way it goes. All right. Now I'm going to give you a chance to win something else at the end of today. And, but I'm going to give away a couple more prizes. So I just tipped my hand. Damn it. I hate when I do that. On our last video, I said we were going to read through all the gems that you guys posted about what you learned. And that was on question and answer 2. And I would pick one and say, this is the one that's going to win a harness, which I just had this on the puppy this morning, one of the Blue 9 harnesses. But here's the thing. I couldn't pick one. So I'm picking 2. I'm giving away 2 harnesses today. All right. So the first one goes to Cindy Brown Stevenson. Her gem was, my dog's behavior does not define my dog. It defines the direction I need to set my training. That's what I've been saying. I am glad you're hearing it. And number 2, confidence and fear can't live in the same body. So we grow confidence, we push out fear. Am I promising you will remove all your dog's fear? Absolutely not. I can't make those kind of promises, but I can promise that the more you play these games, the more that you create a connection with your dog, there is going to be more and more confidence in your dog. And I promise you, you will see the fear dramatically reduce, and possibly it will take a lot more to trigger it, right? How can I say that? Because I've just seen it happen so many times in our students' dogs. Okay. And so the next comment, which is really related, but a little bit different. This is from Alana Catherine, who wrote, I'm constantly blown away by how these concepts and principles could apply to parenting or relationships in general. That was my big evolution. I love the connections I'm making that will not only help me be a better dog owner, but also a better parent. Today, the phrase, it's not a problem behavior to the dog, stood out. Yeah. The dog's not having a problem chewing your couch. Not a problem at all with them. It's just a problem to us. So we have to, not get angry at the dog, even though in a case like that, it might be difficult. The dog's behavior doesn't define them. It defines what they need. It's such a great posture. All behaviors it's just communication. We would like to have that grace ourselves. So, for example, I'm going to put this as a business owner. So I have a team of 25 full-time people who work at Dogs That. Guess what? Sometimes things go wrong. And I can tell when the person who's made the mistake, if they come to me, which honestly, there's other people they come to first, but if they come to me, I can tell by their conversation what their history has been with their relationship with their boss. I hate that word, by the way. Because if they're, oh my God, I can't believe this happened. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Then there has been some blame and shame and judgment when they make a mistake. Guess what? I make mistakes like a lot of them. As a business owner, I don't love when people make mistakes, but I love when they feel that the environment we've set for them here is safe enough that they can come to me immediately and say, this is what happened. Here's what we're doing to fix it. Here's the steps I'm doing so it won't happen again. How could I ask for anything better than that? Like, mistakes happen. So I want you to start considering giving your dog that grace, giving the people in your life that grace. If you have kids, give it to them. I'm not saying let's cheer when our kids make mistakes, but let's help them see that mistakes are a part of life that we grow from. Embrace failure, embrace your mistakes, and then give that same grace to your spouse who keeps leaving their dirty underwear on the floor, right? Not saying we want it there, but I'm saying there's better ways to change behavior than to nag. And finally, so important that you give that grace to you. Do not beat yourself up. Do not say things like, how could I be so stupid? You're not stupid. You're freaking brilliant. That's the way you were made. You just weren't thinking of the things you needed to be thinking of in that moment. You're not stupid. You're not useless. You're not. Give yourself grace. Once you give yourself grace, you and your dog, that connection will flourish, because it's all about the lens that you're looking through life with right now. We can change that. All right. So that's what the Doggy Flick series, Connected Dog, and the videos that we have for you there. That's what, in summary, that's what it's all about. And so now I'm going to jump in and we're going to talk a little bit more about dog training, about perception, and I'm going to answer your questions. Is that good? Is everybody with me? I'm going to take a little drink of water. You know what? If you are afraid to make a mistake, you will not progress, because perfectionism is another form of procrastination. We procrastinate because we don't want to be judged by others. So if we procrastinate training our dog, nobody can tell you did a bad job of training your dog. I just didn't train it. And the worst critic is probably you. So get out there today, train your dog, and video yourself, and then laugh at the mistakes you made and go, I'm going to do better next time, but good thing my dog loves me regardless, right? Okay, so I'm going to jump into now the questions that you guys had for us. And we'll start just with, there's some general Connected Dog series questions. So this one came from Bridget. Does it make a difference on the age or circumstance of the dog you are starting with on the program? Yes, it does. Because, as I've said many times, we meet our dogs where they are at. So for a dog that's highly distracted, we are going to focus on training things that help give them focus through competence. For a dog who's fearful, we're going to go at a different pace than, I hate to say a normal dog, because what is a normal dog? Who has a normal dog? But some dogs, you can play the games and they'll go along just tickety-boo. For example, my puppy Belief, she seems to have no problems with what we're doing. My puppy, when this was a puppy, my 2-year-old, we had more problems. So I went slower. We're building layers, evaluating the behavior that we have, and building another layer. So the age, I would say once a puppy is 8 to 9 weeks old, then we could start conditioning these behavior, probably before that, really. But I wouldn't, if you're just getting a puppy at 10 weeks old, that's the time to start. That would be the ideal. If you get a rescue dog and they're 17 years old, you can start with conditioning, help them live their best life for as long as many years they have left. All right. So it's about meeting the dog where they're at. And in special circumstances, like I'm thinking of our recaller students who will come with a dog who's blind or a dog who's deaf, and we may tweak a game for them, but they still progress at their rate, which is the correct rate for that dog. My puppy is learning everything through Dogs Out Online. Do you think going to puppy class is a must for socializing? I would say that's a great combination, with a asterisk and a big but. If you can go there first and see what kind of environment of learning they are establishing, that if they are a reinforcement-based program, then it would be an ideal to combine. And a lot of local classes that are using a lot of reinforcement in their training will absolutely encourage their students to take our online programs. So that would be ideal. If a class locally doesn't offer that to you, then you could go, say, like somebody might be offering scent training for puppies. It's not puppy training, but what I want for my puppies and what I think we should all want is that they see all these different environments, so they generalize the behavior that you're training at home into other environments. That do puppies need to learn to play with other dogs? No. They need to be okay with other dogs. They need to be not worried by other dogs. They need to be not put off. For example, my dog Swagger, he was a singleton, meaning he didn't have any litter mates. I went to a lot of work to make sure he was fine with other dogs. He 100% has zero problems with other dogs, but never in his life has he ever wanted to play with another dog other than his mother. He likes watching other dogs play, but he doesn't care. He doesn't. And if puppies came jumping out on him, and he wouldn't care, but he doesn't want to play. So socializing is about generalizing the good stuff you've done at home into other environments. And if you can find a place locally that will complement what you're doing, but you don't want to get in a position where you have to advocate for your dog and say, I don't feel comfortable. And by all means, everybody, I don't care if this is the first time you've ever trained a dog. If somebody says, let me take your dog and show you, do not hand that puppy over. Do not hand that dog over until they can articulate to you what's going to happen if my dog doesn't do what you're expecting. It's not, what are you going to do? Oh, I'm just going to get him to sit and I'm going to tell him he's a good boy. What's going to happen if my dog doesn't do what you are expecting? And if they say something vague, like, let's cross that bridge when we get there. No, I just don't. I just feel comfortable. I'll just watch. I'm more of a wallflower. Like, or blame it on me. Susan Garrett said that I should really just keep him safe for now until he's at a better level. Make some poop up, guys. Advocate for your dogs. Do not hand your dog off to anybody, no matter how confident they may be. No matter if they say, I train police dogs. I am the world's greatest. I don't care. If I'm teaching your class and I say, let me take your puppy. No, Susan, some very wise dog trainer told me not to hand over my puppy unless that person taking them could articulate what might happen if things go wrong. All right. We're all going to look out for our dogs. That's a long tangent, but I think it's really important. Very important. I really always, because bad experiences could really impact our dogs in a way that creates experiences that we have to overcome. Like, let's not do that. When doing these games, Erica asked, when doing these games, should we first warm up our dogs with a game of tug, for example, as suggested in your podcast, or go straight into collar, grab, and search? I like to connect with my dog. So if your dog tugs, yes, you can do a tug, something like collar grab, or when we're conditioning rather than creating an environment where we're wanting them to choose. Conditioning can happen all day long around the house, right? So you go to let your puppy, I don't know, you're going to go take your puppy outside and you call them and you're going to put the leash on. You do collar grab, cookie, then leash. So collar grab, cookie doesn't need a warm up. It can be part of the connecting process. But generally speaking, if I'm going to do something, like, it's your choice. I might do a little tug game, get them warmed up and engage with me. And then I might sit down and say, let's do some, it's your choice. Right? So great question, Erica. Wait, what specifically was the response to Specky not holding a position? What were the specific layers? How did Ms. Garrett break it down and clarify for Specky? Okay, so this goes back to a story I told about my dog Specky. I think that I told the story in video 5, I believe. My Jack Russell, who is a Jack Russell that I took on to train for somebody else who had she was very driven to chase and wouldn't hold a stay. This was back in the 80s when I was not the kindest trainer. I would try and bully that little dog I told you to stay and I'm going to correct you and correct you and correct you. All right. So what were those specific layers? There are a lot of them, and they are all, I would say, number one, started with crate games. So if you want to know where to start, dogs, and there's a podcast on this as well. Dogs can't hold position until they really understand your release word. So the release word is the number one thing, and then it goes from there. Just because my dog would hold a stay in class with other dogs walking by doesn't mean she's going to hold her stay on the hillside when I'm drilling frisbees down the hill for my border collie to go screaming after. Right. So there's layers of confidence and understanding that come together, and they're all taught with games. every single one of them. It's Your Choice is a game in Specky. Specky didn't know It's Your Choice. I didn't do It's Your Choice back in the 80s, early 90s. So that was a game that now creates clarity so that I can do things with my, let me just show you a video. Oh, I can't show it right now. I think I have to. Oh, I'll try showing it later. I may have to, I can't share my screen with StreamYard, what we're showing on. So I promise I will either put it up, post it later to just show you some of the layers that I've done with my current puppy. Okay. So we'll get back to that. All right. So this one is from PMum, and it is, hold on, I got to cancel this. Hold on. Will the work I'm doing to gain environmental neutrality for my dog when we are out together extend to neutrality for my dog when she's out with other members of the household? Really great question. And this is the great thing. Because of the way we're training, and all we're doing is adding reinforcement for a dog making a good choice. That's it. It 100% transfers to anybody. And my cleaning lady who comes here once a week, she gets such a kick out of being able to get my dog to do the things she asks. And it blows her mind. And a lot of people will say, you have to be the one because the dog won't listen to anybody else. And that is if the dog has been trained with punishment, because they know you will follow up what you say with a firm hand. But will your 6-year-old follow it up? Well, when you train this way, empowering the dog that they can make their choices in their training and building those correct choices with reinforcement, your 6-year-old could give the same cues and your dog will respond. Absolutely. So will it work? That environmental neutrality that we're creating, it works for anybody. So my late husband used to take the dogs out when I would be at a trial, and like my little terriers would listen to him just as well as they would me. And he always got a kick out of it because people thought, oh, what an amazing trainer you are, sir. Like, your dogs are so well trained, because they just listen to anybody. It just wouldn't matter. Okay. Obviously, the history of reinforcement, if the person took them out and never reinforced them for anything, I think my dog still would listen for quite some time before they'd stop, but another story. Okay. Annabelle, do you forever have to say cookie when delivering a treat to your dog's mouth in other exercises? Not in this series. You can choose the cue. And I like the understanding it gives. For example, where I like it best, and this is something I started to do only since my dog this. When I do fitness, the dogs are constantly like, you're giving them so many cookies. And so dogs are wired to anticipate reinforcement. So as you go to deliver the cookie, they're going to meet you part way. And so if you're in their face with a handful of cookies, they're going to like bump or lick or nibble. And so by saying cookie before I deliver, even when I'm doing body work, I get a dog who's more relaxed. They understand, don't worry about the food. It's coming to you when you hear cookie. So I like the understanding and the clarity it brings my dogs when I'm doing things where there's a lot of reinforcement that's going to be handed out. Takes away the worry about when's it coming? Is it now? It's like musical chairs, right? Imagine, how you play musical chairs. Is it happening now? Is it happening now? So my dogs know it's not happening until you hear cookie. And that word can be your power word. So if you just want to like say cook or kook or key, make it shorter. You're absolutely, that's a great idea too. In Connected Plus, how do you handle barking during these training sessions? Do I just ignore it until he makes the correct decision, or do I distract him by trying one of your other games? Okay, so before I go further, any of you watching this, if you are a member of Doggy Flicks, we have a higher level, which people have paid for some coaching from myself and Linda, and that isn't available anymore. However, we videoed or all of these sessions from start to finish, and they are in the learning zone on Doggy Flicks. So you can watch all of these sessions, watch all of the feedback we gave to these students. So if you go into the learning zone and you scroll down, it's one of the bars and it says watch Connected Plus. So there you go. So the question is barking. So if the dog is barking, that is a behavior, and the behavior is giving us feedback at potentially a low threshold to failure, potentially that your mechanics has caused some confusion. And that's where videoing your training will help you to pinpoint. I would go to, my goal is to not have my dog bark. And so the other thing I would ask you is look at the other 23 hours of the day, 23 hours and 50 minutes where you're not training. And is your dog being reinforced for barking? Does the barking get attention where you say, knock it off? Does the barking get attention where they get let out of a crate or let out of whatever? So think about that. Some dogs are more vocal and it depends. And so having a dog bark when they're work, that's a personal call. I just don't like it. So I tend to put a lot of effort into reinforcing a dog being quiet when they're working, and then not adding too much excitement until the dog has a great clarity and understanding, making sure the frustration threshold is really low. And when it happens, I just freeze and just hold for a second until the barking stops. But that's punishment. So if you are applying punishment, you're only applying it because you know, number one, I've given tons of reinforcement for what I want. And number two, it's a way for me to get out of that situation. So I will pause. And when my dog does stop barking, then I will look back at them, get back to work, and I will do something, reinforce them, end my session, go to my notes, check my video. What did I do? What triggered that barking? Because looking away and pausing is punishment. It's not a form of creating a behavior change. It's a way of you dealing with something that's going on in that session. Okay. Have you ever trained hunting, herding, IPO, Schutzhund, or any real protection work? If so, how do these games work towards your goal? I personally haven't, Joy. However, I've coached people who have. One of my students was the world champion of Schutzhund. And she came to me because she wanted to learn more about how to use our games and get away from using so much of the e-collar training that she was using. So do they transfer? It doesn't matter what you train. I have people who are leading dog training programs for police work. And when we used to do in-person sessions, they would come here and be part of it. So it doesn't matter what you're training your dog to do, how high a level of excellence you want from that dog. It doesn't matter if you're training a cat or a horse or a parrot. I've had them all. We've had them all in our programs. This is applying the laws of learning in a way that engages the dog. And absolutely for sports that have such a high degree of intensity, like Schutzhund, like herding, like IPO or the protection sports, you can't train successfully any other way unless you're willing to go to punishment, because you're training in such a high level of arousal. It's such a fine line there that the only way to get success is the way I'm suggesting it. And I absolutely know I can get success because I've gotten it with people. Though the dog who went on to become the world champion, this woman bought, because it was cast off as a Schutzhund 3 dog. The person had paid a lot of money for it, tens of thousands of dollars, but discarded the dog because he said it didn't have the drive or intensity. It was basically a piece of crap, never was going to achieve anything in the sport, sold it for very cheap. And this woman said, I got nothing to lose. I love the bloodline of this dog. And if I can train it to be different, then let's go. Went on to be world champion. So haven't done it myself. Love those dogs. I love like a well-bred working shepherd or a Malinois. I just, I always said one day, but I have a list of dogs that I'd love. And you know what? They include both. A bulldog was on the list, so I got myself the bulldog now. The Afghan hound, Malinois. Like I've had a lot of them on my list, and maybe I'll get more, maybe not. We'll see. Because I love my border collies. I love my terriers. Okay, these are questions about the collar grab game. I've a 2-year Wheaton Terrier, a lot of grooming. He hates it. For 2 years, I've grabbed him by his collar for grooming. So collar grab equals grooming. It's now impossible to grab his collar. Okay. I am going to try. I've got to try and maybe it's in here. I got to try and add a video clip for you guys. So bear with me here. Talk amongst yourself. Ask questions. If you've got some questions, ask them in there. And none of these are going to, let's see. No, I can't show it to you. So I'm going to have to put it up there somewhere else. So I wanted to show you a video of Belief, who is our puppy, who's almost 6 months old. And she was doing great with getting her nails trimmed, and then she decided she didn't. So whether it be nail trimming or grooming, we're bigger, smarter, stronger. It has to be done. So we tend to just overpower them and do it. And our dog's behavior saying, I don't feel comfortable with what you're going to do to me, needs to trigger in us, oh crap, all right, let's make you more comfortable. So I have a program that you can get from our website. It's called Pedicure Please. It's how to teach your dog to want to have their nails trimmed. Now, I'm going to tell you, I wouldn't advise you buying it if you're thinking of joining Recallers, because I give it to all my Recallers for free. And so it teaches you about nail trimming, but it could be brushing. It could be any kind of a husbandry behavior that you have to do with your dog. For example, I have to give Belief these drops in her mouth every day. They are alcohol based, and I tried them and they taste horrific. Horrific. It's an alcohol base. They just taste awful. And so I had to teach her to want to have those done. And that's what I did. I should do a video on that too. All right. So that's number one. Number two, let's deal with your collar grab dog that doesn't want her collar grab. We're just going to put the dog on a leash and we're going to condition. There's a lot of things you can do. Condition the side of the collar, condition the side of the collar. And you're going to do collar grab with I'm going to grab your leash and I'm going to say cookie and give you collar. And you're going to allow your dog's behavior to dictate every session how you progress through that. All right. But now it's like we're looking at life with a different lens. Oh, when my dog says, I don't feel comfortable with you grooming me, we're not going to say, well, suck it up, Buttercup. You got to get groomed. We're going to say, all right, how can I shape you? How can I use what Susan's taught me so that you love? And I mean, that's what we did with Tater Salad. He absolutely hated having his nails trimmed. And I can show you that one. So let me just show you that one. Here you go. I'm going to grab that. So this was Tater Salad. When we first got him, I just wanted to tap his toenails with a spoon. Right? I couldn't get the spoon. You couldn't handle his feet. He was so obsessed about, no, you're not going to touch my nails. And I don't see the video of Tater Salad with him now. Today, if I was to turn on the Dremel, why don't I do that? I don't have the video here, but I can do a live demo. Can you go grab the Dremel for me, the big one? And I don't even know where Tater Salad is, but when we get that set up, I'll show you. I don't have the video, but guess what? What's better than a video? Live demonstration. So Linda will have to be very quiet when she picks up the Dremel because we don't want him to know what we're doing here. Yeah, I've got some up here. I got cookies. Okay, and I'm going to answer some more questions. Leash on, she knows I have treats. Is that a problem for collar grab? Is the food supposed to be a surprise? So yes, but they know after the first collar grab, it isn't a surprise. So you can do collar grab around the house without the leash on as well, but start with the leash on. It's not that crazy critical, right? How does search get used outside of training? Oh my gosh, I use search for so many things. Number one, if I'm shaping a behavior where I need the dog, like let's say I'm going to shape the dog putting their feet up on a perch. I do this for fitness. You might do it for, I want you to do a tight sit. You might want to do it for, I want to teach you the a sit and hold position. So anytime you're doing a shaping of a stationary position that you want to see repeated over and over again, or a behavior of motion where you can throw the reinforcement to reinforce the dog in action. For example, when I'm teaching a dog to back up, I will throw the cookie between their legs, but I'll say search because that tells them now you're allowed to get that cookie. Okay, so I actually don't say search right away. So here's the Dremel. I'm going to flip the camera around. I have no idea where Tater Salad is. Somewhere in the house, I'm assuming. Do you know? On a bed. He's laying on a bed where? Chelsea said in front of the box. Oh, this could be tough. He is by the fireplace. So he is by the fireplace, and let's just see what happens here. I'll go out there. Let's just see. Okay, I got to turn the mic so you guys can hear this too. Move the mic over here. Here we go. What, buddy? Do you want your nails trimmed? All right, I'll give you one. Come on then. You want your nail trimmed? All right. There you go. You're cute. So there's a dog who went from, oh my gosh, absolutely no way, get out of here, you are not touching my nails, to a dog that is like, please, can I be next? We have to lock him up when we're trimming other dogs' nails. That's the power. He was a rescue dog. He came with some baggage. And I didn't say, oh my God, now we can never cut his nails because of this baggage. I said, that behavior doesn't define you, buddy. That behavior just defines the direction I need to go in my next training. Okay? The little shake off was probably because he was dead asleep in front of the fire. And he heard the noise and he just came running. And he's still hanging around. He's like, can we do more? Can we do more dremeling? Right? That's just the power of focusing your training where the training needs to go. Okay, next question. Now with 2 games combined, she stops short of coming all the way back to me and offers a sit. Is there something I can do? I would say do higher value for your collar grab and lower value for the search game, right? Because the dog dictates where the value needs to go. Catherine, when I'm done with our session, I throw out one more search cookie as a reward. And then when Wynn comes back to me or looks towards me, I say, all done. Is that okay? I don't think there's any right or wrong way to end a training session. Yeah. And the answer really depends on where you were training. For me, when I'm finished a training session, let's say if I was training and I just did some training, I dremeled his nails and gave him a cookie and I didn't say anything. I just came back and sat down. So I changed my location. So if I was sitting there with a Dremel, then it would be confusing. I would maybe then give a cue like all done, but I've never really used that because I always just change my position at the end. Okay, now these questions are about it's your choice. Why do you choose to say cookie when you're doing it's your choice? Again, it goes back to the clarity of understanding that there are some things that we call that a location-specific reinforcement marker that I'm going to give this to you, that you understand. Because I think by teaching cookie and search before I introduce it's your choice, then it's your choice is so much clearer. Oh, cookie means I'm coming to you. And you're helping the dog understand till when. Hold position till when. You hold position now till I give you a cookie. You hold position now till I say search, and then you can break position. Okay, so it just adds another layer of clarity for our training. That's why I love it. Is it wrong for you to do is your choice and never say cookie? No, but then you don't have that tool that I have that I can use down the road. Mary says, should I expect when I'm sitting, expect him to sit when I'm standing. No, Mary, we want our dogs to do it's your choice in a sit, a stand, and a down, but it isn't dependent upon what you're doing. You could be sitting on the floor and get a sit down stand, which I have. You could be standing and get a sit down without saying the cue for the dogs, right? So if you have a dog that won't down, then that's something you could do, like putting them up on something. If you're sitting below it, they're more likely to offer a down. You can do it's your choice from that down from there. Sherry asks, my 11-week-old puppy has shark teeth. I've been there, done that. Somebody, Amazon just got delivered, FYI. Her sharp teeth are hurting and tearing my skin when my hand is closed and the fist, she's learning for the. So if the dog is being persistent about biting on it's your choice, you need to move back to with treat diving when we just had the bowl up high. Then so the bowl might be up here, and if the dog bounces up, and then you wait until they're sitting, and then you could say cookie and go, and then you move your bowl down a little lower and down a little lower, and by the time you get to it on your leg, there shouldn't be a lot of fighting and biting. And if I can appreciate some people have thinner skin, like my late husband when he was on the blood thinners, he had super thin skin. He would bleed, like the dogs would scratch him and he'd bleed. I would recommend you get one of those butcher's gloves, play the game in that. But again, it's not about seeing how much you can get bit. It's about creating clarity. The game isn't about punishing the dog. It's about reinforcing the dog. So go back a step and create more clarity. Okay, Heather, what if the dog is already conditioned to look at you for permission for things? He gives me a down and makes eye contact. You can change that. There's actually a video on YouTube, and we'll put it in the links in the comments that where I talk about why it's your choice isn't watch me, because it's really about we want them to focus on their work. Now, what can you do to fix that? Let's say this is your dog. You're going to have your dog sit in front of you, and you can just play it's your choice in front of them like this. Cookie. See, this isn't a valuable treat to my microphone. I needed to pick something else. So that's a good way to help getting them started. Then you can get to the ground, and then you can just start playing it's your choice. They're going to learn to look away. Easy. Okay. Josh, I can drop them in front of her and she won't go for them. When I drop them like I do to tell her to get it or tell her search, when I drop them like that, do I tell her get it or call her to search, considering their treats are on the floor? So I'm not sure what you mean, Josh, or Joss. So if you drop the treats in front of them and she doesn't go for them, you can either then pick one up and say cookie, or tap in front of one on the floor and say search. That's what I would do. Okay, from Tanya, how do I apply this method to stop a puppy jumping on me, kitchen, benches, etc., without a correction? So it's about filling the dog with confidence for what we want them to do. And not giving them access to make poor choices. And so obviously they're going to jump on us because that's what puppies do. So what I would do is when we greet the puppy, I would just say, get them out of the crate. And I like to do a tug game. And if I'm going to go to food, then I can go to search and throw cookies on the floor at my feet. And they just don't get a chance to jump on me. And the same when they're greeting other people. I ask people, when you greet my puppy, just say search and toss the cookie at your feet. And that just helps them to understand high value comes for looking down and not jumping up. And you grow that confidence. And so them getting on the kitchen, you just don't give them access to that. So we have a big puppy pen that the puppy lives in until I can build value for their hot zone outside of the kitchen. I don't like dogs in my kitchen. I honestly don't cook as much as I used to. I actually have people who do that now, but I love to cook. And moving from one thing to another in a kitchen, dog underfoot, it was a pain. There was a time I had 7 dogs in a smaller kitchen, And so I just taught them all hot zones outside the kitchen. We're all happy. I will throw you reinforcement. You don't have to be in a hot zone. You just can't be in the kitchen. You can be in other areas of the house, knock yourself out. But if you want to be reinforced when I'm in the kitchen cooking, then you're going to be in your hot zone. Okay. Next question. My dog gets very excited. When should I stop when the excitement starts to overwhelm her and wait for her to calm down? She starts off brilliantly, but then after a few times starts jumping. So that, Carol, that's a question that I need to see a video. So I love that a dog shows excitement, but they need to not be inappropriate with that. And so the question is, should I stop? I would say we need to help them to understand what we want from them. And they're not going to jump. Like, for example, if we're doing It's Your Choice, are they going to be jumping on us? No. If we're doing the search game or treat diving, are they going to jump on us? They don't get a chance to. No. If we're doing hot zone, and from hot zone, we can say search and toss a cookie on the ground. So if you have a problem with jumping up, then let's focus on that and build the layers for inappropriate behavior, to create a behavior that is not compatible with jumping up. And then we're going to get clarity for the dog there. Okay. My dog gets very protective and will growl and sometimes snap if she's relaxing and anyone comes into the room. Will this behavior change once we do these videos? Honestly, April, it sounds like there could be so many things that are going on. And I've told people that leash reactivity definitely has gone away with students who are in our programs. But there are some dogs that need the expert help of a behaviorist. And there's a lot of really good veterinarian behaviorists. And now there's a lot of good certified behavior modification experts. And those are the ones that, without seeing a video, without seeing anything, it sounds like to me that's your dog needs confidence at the way that they can feel safe even when somebody new is coming in the room. So I can't say babies won't cry and birds will always sing if you play these games. Hold on a second. And I also can't deny that sometimes dogs need bigger help than just our program. Okay, can you read these questions for me, Linda? Sure. Come over. I'll say my voice for my answers.
Want to take a second to clear it? Or?
No, you can go.
Okay, Andrea. When the dog gets the understanding of the blanket hot zone, is the order this? Replace the search mechanics onto the blanket with a hot zone cue, wait, reward on the hot zone, extend the gap for the stay, and then release. Sounds like it.
So yeah, we're not, when we're ready to, and I think it was video 6, we talk about just standing near the hot zone, which is your wait, reward the dog for getting on. And then you can give cookies while they're on, and then either use your release cue that you've used for crate games, or you can use search for them to grab a cookie and come back to work. So yeah, pretty good, Andrea. Okay.
Cameron wrote, I am having an issue with the search game. My dog loves to attack the blanket. She does it less if it's her dog bed, but I know Susan said not to change the game. Is a dog bed okay for this?
No, Andrea, a dog, or Cameron, a dog bed can be okay for this for sure. Or using like a, just something that isn't a texture that they can pick up and pull around. So in that instance, yes, we need to troubleshoot because we're seeing a different behavior develop. We need to troubleshoot and to create more clarity. You can maybe go back to a blanket at some point, but for sure use what the dog isn't going to be grabbing.
Joan wrote, I'm not understanding why you would use one word for 2 different commands. You are using search for both the blanket and the leaving of the blanket. Wouldn't that confuse the pup?
So, Joan, I think you confused in what the word search means. The search word doesn't mean get on a blanket. The search word means you now have permission to eat the cookie that's on the floor. And so it could be, you could use search in so many different environments and so many different behaviors. Like, I don't know, there's probably 10 behaviors a day that I would use search for. So I apologize if that wasn't clear in the games, but search means you can now eat the cookie off the floor.
Barb, where and when can we see the For the Love Dog videos that Susan said would be starting today?
So For the Love of Dogs is a video contest that our students who have been videoing their training for a year, they put together some of the videos we've actually shared during the Connected Dog series. Underneath, you would have seen some of them. So you can find that in the learning zone. There'll be a link there so that you can vote on, I think there's 5 videos there today on Friday, 5 on Saturday, 5 on Sunday. And maybe you might have some Kleenex nearby. Like, they're just amazing, inspiring videos, honestly.
Leslie, while gaining momentum with these games, should I try to block or at least minimize all of his exposure to the greatest distractions, i.e. squirrels, people, dog walking?
Absolutely, Leslie. So make sure you download, if you guys haven't downloaded your playbook yet, make sure you download that playbook. It's super important. Do you have my playbook that you might have taken from me that I can show here? So make sure you download the playbook and fill in what your baseline is. And then you're going to play where your dog has confidence and can soar. And then you're going to go to maybe the next level up. You want to do this in a way that the dog can have success. So I've seen, I think I have some comments here from some of you, you're sharing. So here, oh my gosh, I tried this today and Lola got it. I cried, I watched, I get it. And this was amazing. Thank you for your support. So I just wanted to share some of these comments that people are seeing it and you're ready to move forward. Here's another one. The game amazed me. It was really fun to watch Tucker figure out Hot Zone. Thank you for this course. I've been listening to your podcast for a while. I love your techniques. Thank you, Margie. It was really impressive to see my connection with my dog grow. And that's why we wanted you to create that base level, is in just a short period of time, the connection is going to grow. I'm excited to see where your methods could take us. So that's the sort of thing that at the beginning, I promised. I said, if you play full out, you watch the videos, you fill in the Connected Dog, the playbook that we have for you, you fill in all the blanks in here, that I promise 100%, you are going to see a change in your dog in just a week. And for those of you who are watching it now, the Connected Dog series is available until the 23rd of October, which is Sunday at midnight. So you can binge watch, right? They're all those 6 videos are open. So you can binge watch now. Okay. This whole series has been so helpful. I have 2 field spaniels, age 5 and 6. The trainers told me over and over, the reason they don't work with me is because I'm not enough of a leader. That's a hard swallow for me. What a difference in just a week. I feel like I found my home. My dogs are so excited to do anything with me. They're jumping on me. I went to the door to call them this morning and from a distraction, and they came when I appeared. I barely even spoke. We're so much happier and connected. We love these games. We can hardly wait for more. And here's, what I'm going to share with you. These games work, but these are just the very beginning. The games that we have in all of our programs they're mind-blowing how good they work for things. And I mean, obviously, I thought Tater was a great example for you today. But I also want to share, you're going to learn more about this in video 7, but I'm going to give you a little peek into it. It's about transcendence for not just the dog, but for you as well. And so I'm going to share the start of a comment that was left on one of our videos. And I'm going to share it, not to shame this person, just to bring in awareness to where we're heading. I always thought my calling was to help change the world for dogs, but I really believe my calling is to help change the world for people through dogs. And so when we make reinforcement a habit, we become a more reinforcing person. And so it's not a point where, oh, I've arrived, because we're also human. And sometimes we're going to lose our crap when people do things. And then you're going to quickly course correct because you're going to say, that's not the kind of person I want to be. So if you are a reinforcement-based dog trainer, you become a reinforcement-based person. And so you realize that people are always doing the best they can. That our dog, it's not just our dogs, people, everyone you meet is doing the best they can. And you're going to say, well, how do you make up for the mass murderers in this world? Well, guess what? They're doing the best they can with the education they've got and the environment that their accumulation of their experiences, right? So this is a comment, the beginning of a comment. I'm not going to say a name, but she started the comment by saying, I get a little angry listening to you talk. Your assumptions is that you're talking to somebody who has no experience with reinforcement and who doesn't know how to train. And so when you start a conversation with judgment, you immediately create an adversarial relationship. If you want to be a more reinforcement-based person, it's got to be a habit. And it can't just be about your dog. You'll be a better dog trainer if you look to be a reinforcement-based person with everybody in your life. And guess what? It's not going to hurt your quality of life either. Does that make sense to you guys? Do you understand where I'm going? Okay. What I want you to do now is on Doggy Flicks. There, I want to remind you of the area that is about watching the coaching that we've done for the other students. I want you to absorb as much dog training as you can in this series. So yes, there is the series, and you should watch and rewatch those videos, but there is the access that I've never done this before. This was an experiment. We've had plus level where people can watch the free videos, but they get coaching. We've never made these available to everybody. So I would encourage you to go to the Learning Zone, watch those videos, and if they are of value to you, put a comment and say, I got access to watching Susan coach, because then maybe next time when this rolls around, this is an experiment. Did this experiment work for us? So also, some of your questions can be answered in the previous 2 Q&As that I did. So there's Q&A 1, Q&A 2, this is Q&A 3. And so if you can't tell by now, I love helping people. I love the thought that dogs are living their best life because of what we're doing as a team. And it's infectious. So please take advantage of everything we have for you. And please show your love for the people who have, being vulnerable and sharing their story in the For Love of Dog video contest. Vote for your favorite and just give the flowers to everybody that's out there doing their best to bring their best life to their dog. All right. And I'll see you guys on Monday when video 7 becomes live, and you learn what it looks like to be a full-time student with us, if that's a decision that makes sense for you. Basically, you're deciding if I'm your people and if you want to spend a year in this program learning more games. But long way away. It's Monday, lots to do. And I just want you guys to absorb everything you can right now that we have for you. Okay, so we'll see you. Swagger saying goodbye. We'll see you on Monday.